I'm not a fan of Zhao Lusi. I didn't follow her dramas, I didn't know much about her career, and I wasn't part of her fandom. But recently, I came across a video, one that stopped me in my tracks. She looked fragile, not just physically, but emotionally. Her eyes told a story of exhaustion, of pain, of someone who had been pushed far beyond her limits. And then I saw her words that weren't polished or rehearsed. They were raw, honest, heartbreaking. Zhao Lusi wasn't just sharing a personal struggle, she was exposing a system that had failed her, that had used her, that had left her broken. And suddenly, this wasn't just another celebrity headline. It was a cry for help, and it made me realize you don't have to be a fan to care. You just have to be human. So in this video, I want to talk about what happened to Zhao Lusi, why it matters, and what it says about the entertainment industry, not just in China, but everywhere. Let's start with who Zhao Lusi is. Born in 1998, Zhao Lusi, also known as Rosie Zhao, rose to fame through a series of romantic dramas that captured the hearts of millions. Her breakout roles in Hidden Love, Love Like the Galaxy, and The Long Ballad made her one of the most recognizable faces in Chinese television. She had this bubbly charm, an energy that felt light, refreshing, and relatable. Audiences loved her for her authenticity, her comedic timing, and her emotional depth. She wasn't just another actress, she became a symbol of youthful optimism. Her fan base grew rapidly. She became a brand ambassador for major companies, appeared on magazine covers, and was invited to variety shows and red carpet events. But as we now know, behind the scenes, things weren't as perfect as they seemed. Fame, as it turns out, doesn't protect you from pain. Sometimes it amplifies it. And for Zhao Lusi, the cost of fame was far greater than most people realized. Zhao Lusi posted a series of messages on Weibo that shocked fans and the public alike. She revealed that she had been diagnosed with dissociative conversion disorder, a condition that causes physical symptoms like paralysis or loss of speech, triggered by extreme psychological stress. She shared that she had lost her ability to speak, that she weighed only 36 kilograms, that she had been hospitalized multiple times. But that wasn't all. She accused her agency, Galaxy Cool Entertainment, of withdrawing over 2 million yuan, roughly $367,000, from her personal studio's account without her consent. She described being verbally abused, physically threatened, and told she would be blacklisted if she tried to fight back. Her words were haunting. She said, "You don't need to blacklist me. I quit." That line alone sent shockwaves through the industry. It wasn't just defiance, it was desperation. A final stand against a system that had pushed her to the edge. And what made it even more heartbreaking was the fact that she had been suffering in silence for so long. She had been working through illness, through emotional trauma, through isolation, while still smiling for the camera. The public response was immediate and intense. Fans flooded social media with messages of support. Hashtags like Justice for Zhao Lusi and Freedom for Rosie began trending. People shared clips of her looking weak, sitting in a wheelchair, and appearing visibly distressed. They demanded accountability. They called out her agency, they begged for transparency. But something darker was happening too. Her reality show Little Courage was quietly pulled from broadcast. Brand deals were cancelled. Her name began to disappear from promotional materials. Many began to suspect she was being soft-banned, silenced without an official statement. Meanwhile, platforms like Weibo were accused of profiting off her pain. Toxic content trended while her voice was buried. It raised serious questions. Who controls the narrative? Who benefits when a star breaks down? And why is it so easy to silence someone who dares to speak out? The situation also sparked broader conversations about mental health, exploitation, and the lack of protection for artists in the entertainment industry. Why this matters? Zhao Lusi's story isn't just about one actress. It's about a system that often treats talent like products, valuable when they're profitable, disposable when they're not. We've seen similar stories in K-pop, in Hollywood, in other parts of Chinese entertainment. Artists pushed to exhaustion, mental health ignored, contracts that strip away autonomy. And when someone finally speaks out, they are labeled difficult, ungrateful, or unstable. But what if they're just human? What if they're just asking for help? Zhao Lusi's courage is forcing us to look at the cost of fame. Not just the glitz, but the emotional toll. The isolation, the silence. It's making us ask, how many more stories like this are out there? How many artists are suffering in silence, afraid to speak up? And what can we as viewers, as fans, as people do to change that? Maybe it starts with listening, with believing, with supporting, not just when they're on top, but when they're struggling. I didn't expect to make this video. I'm not part of her fandom, but something about her story stuck with me. Maybe it's because we've all felt overwhelmed. We've all had moments where we wanted someone to listen. And when someone as visible as Zhao Lusi says, "I'm not okay," it gives others permission to say it too. This isn't just about entertainment. It's about empathy. About recognizing that behind every public figure is a private life, often filled with struggles we'll never see. I don't know what's next for Zhao Lusi, but I hope she finds peace, healing, and support. And I hope we, as viewers, learn to look beyond the screen, because sometimes the most powerful thing we can do is listen. If this story moved you, share it. Leave a comment. Let's talk about how we treat the people behind the fame. And if you're struggling, please know you're not alone. There's help, there's hope, and there are people who care. Thank you for watching. Stay kind, stay curious, and take care of yourself.